Hi, it's Oscilloscope Teardown time again. Thank you very much for Siglent for sending in not one but two of their new scopes. We've got the SDS1000X HD, or the basically the 1000X HD series here, 4-channel, 200 megahertz jobby. We've also got the new SDS800 HD series, and HD of course meaning 12-bit. This is 200 megahertz. Both of these 4-channel. Now I put a poll on Twitter/X, and the majority of people said they wanted to see the bigger bad boy first. So let's take a look at it. Teardown time. Just one thing, I'm getting the 1000X out of the box here, and I noticed that the styrofoam rubber baby buggy bumper on the end is like bent in like that, and well, I can feel that the scope is actually touching the bottom of the box. So it looks like that has actually failed. So let me get this out and have a squiz. Yeah, I don't know. That should be adequate. Maybe the box isn't sized correctly. It's slightly too big and it just allowed it to slip out like that. Perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, it's worth looking into. I don't think there's any damage though. And of course, it's any colour you like as long as it's black. And for the film aficionados, here we go. Oh yeah. So this is the SDS1000X HD, the top of the range model, so 200 megahertz, 2 gig samples per second, 12-bit. We're talking 100 meg points of memory. We've of course seen the 2000 series before, so it's basically a cut down version of the 2000 series, and the 2000 series was excellent. So I'll link in that video if you haven't seen it. So I believe it's a similar sort of specs. So you get the 100 meg point memory, which is more than enough ton these days, and it's got a 10.1-inch capacitive touch screen. Very nice. Of course, you don't get the vertical controls over each vertical channel. Now, you can't, otherwise the oscilloscope would be like this wide or something crazy like that. So nice sort of like width form factor here. And yes, we do have 50 ohm inputs on all the channels. We've got the serial bus interface for the optional logic analyzer, 2 USBs on the front, and calibration, and all serial decodes built in for free, which is nice of course, but it does not have a built-in function generator, but you can actually get it, and you can do bode plots and everything else with that, but it's an external USB unit. So yeah, not built in, but that's what Siglent are doing these days. So price-wise, you can actually get this for 999 Yankee bucks. Sorry, I'm not going to do all the prices in all the different countries, working US dollars. Street price $999, but that's only for the 2-channel version. As I said in previous videos, I do not recommend anyone buy a 2-channel scope anymore, and pretty much you shouldn't even be buying an 8-bit scope anymore. 12 bits with this new HD is the new standard. So yeah, I would recommend 4 channels, HD, 12-bit minimum these days. So yeah, I don't know why they make the 2-channel, but I don't know, education, all that sort of stuff. But no, if you're after a scope, get a 4-channel. Trust me. So the lowest price 4-channel, 100 megahertz version, the 1104X, that's $13.99 Yankee bucks. But the model you see here, the top of range, the 200 megahertz, is $16.99. Still, for what you get, incredible bang per buck. And one of the things I absolutely raved about on the 2000 series was, the die-cast metal alloy handle. Oh, I wish this was Feel-O-Vision, but oh, this is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Why can't all scope manufacturers make like a die-cast alloy handle like that? It's just the duck's guts. On the back here, we get a large cooling fan, we get a Kensington lock, external trigger input, auxiliary output for triggering, we got LXI LAN as standard, another USB port, and a USB host as well. Very nice, but unfortunately, Siglent have the trend has continued in having no HDMI output. So unfortunately, the competition, and even the much lower price competition, has HDMI outputs. So, that's an oversight. And if you compare it with the 2000X HD series, it looks like absolutely identical key layout on it. I can't see any difference whatsoever, but they've changed from the beige to the black. But the difference comes in the serial interface. This is a HDMI connector here, and that one uses a card edge. connector in there for a module. So yeah, different. Why can't they stick with the same probes? Maybe they're now standardizing on this across all their ranges. I mean, the 2000X HD only came out like a year ago when I did that video, so yeah, they've changed it, unfortunately. But the other difference is that the 2000X actually has a wave gen built in instead of a separate USB dongle. I would use the comically long screwdriver, but unfortunately, not Phillips. Bugger. So you know what we say here at the EEVblog, don't turn it on, take it apart. And they got Loctite on the screws. Nice touch. Oh, please. Calibration void if seal broken my ass. And the feet. There's the mechanism, the snap plate for that. It's not the best feeling thing. It's a bit weak sauce, but anyway, I've seen worse. And there's the gorgeous die-cast alloy handle, but this one's even more better than the 2000 because it's got a nicer textured surface. Oh, what a bobby dazzler. All right, so let's take it off. Will it be the same as the 3000? Sorry, the 2000. Yep. I was wondering if it was going to have the cutout for the BNC for the optional wave gen, and it surely does. So whether or not you can upgrade this, I don't know. And I'm pretty confident everything inside is going to be identical layout because you'd be mad not to reuse everything. And once again, they've got these nice little alignment pins here on the side. So let's... Yeah, we're in, and ta-da! Look at that. Is that exactly the same power supply arrangement? I think it is. It is an identical layout, but the power supply is different to what we had in the 2000X, and this unpopulated power protection board up here looks exactly the same, but this little board down here with the AC coupling on it, that has changed. Once again, it's branded Teledyne LaCroix because, of course, Siglent are the OEMs for a lot of Teledyne LaCroix lower-end scopes. So yeah, the layout is slightly different. I'll put in a comparison photo up here, but yeah, it has changed. And the metal standoffs here that are over on the bent metal chassis here, very nice. They're all identical to what we had before. So anyway, there you go for you fan aficionados, but meh, whatever. You can see it is actually mounted on a standoff there to get it in line with the back, like a flush fit with the back of the case. That power supply is significantly different to the previous one. I won't take it out, but you know, it's probably going to do the business. Looks very nice. All the earthing points are exactly the same. Looks like it's really quite nicely implemented. Of course, outside the case, which adds extra shielding, and they've got some decoupling on here. But as I said, there's no populated components on that, which looks like some sort of DC protection board because it's in series with the thing here, or some sort of, I don't even think it has like a MOSFET switch in or anything. So yeah, it's interesting. So the power supply in the 2000X was done by Meanwell, which is a big name reputable manufacturer. This one is done by Mornsun. Yeah, they're a name as well. I don't know, leave it in the comments. If you think Meanwell or Mornsun, who did it better? And the main DC filter cap is a Samson with an X. So, yeah, whatever. Well, check it out. Yeah, they're cutting costs on this one compared to the 2000X. We've only got 3 heatsink devices here, whereas on the we've got 5 on the 2000X, and the one up here, which was a you know, I don't know, RTX 7 or something, FPGA, it's a much smaller one now, and the heatsink's a lot smaller, so that's interesting. I'll see if I can get the cans off. I'll take some high-res photos, always available on EEVblog.com, which links to my Flickr account, so you can check out the high-res photos there. But let's go to the videotape and see if we can compare these. But of course, you expect a cost reduction here because, well, it's a lower price scope. I don't know the exact, maybe I can put it up here in the edit, like, you know, half the price of the 2000X or something, you know, rough order. So yeah, they've saved some cost on the PCB. So so let's compare it to the 2000 HD, shall we? So this is the 1000 HD here, and this is the 2000 HD, which is only like a year old. I just did the teardown video like a year ago. So it is radically different. You can see how the 2000 HD has a big, sorry, you can't see it, but that's an RTX 7 FPGA. And then you got the two 12-bit analog to digital converters here. So this is the acquisition ASIC. And then it looks like you've got that lattice display FPGA there, or is it I can't remember if it's a PLD or FPGA. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's logic gates. And then you've got the Xilinx Zinc, of course, which is used in practically every lower cost scope these days because it's all in one. It's got the FPGA fabric, it's got the ARM processor or multiple ARM processors in it, you know, so I can run the operating system and everything else, and Bob's your uncle. And then the Spartan 7 FPGA, which I think I said had something to do with the logic analyzer down here last time, something like that. But you can see that, well, you can see where they've saved the cost. The ADC is exactly the same because you've got to have it. You've got to have that 12-bit, high-quality 12-bit ADC. So it's the National Semiconductor Jobby. It's the ADC 12D1000. It's exactly the same on both. You can see that there. And it's not like they've skimped, like having just one to multiplex all four channels here. They've got one per two channels, exactly the same as on the 2000 HD. So that's interesting. But up here, they've just got a Zinc Ultra Scale. That's a different one, and it's in a different package and everything else to what we got up here, of course. So the 2000 is an XC7Z020, and the 1000 is a XCZU2CG. For those playing along at home, you can go compare the specs on those. I'm not going to do it in this video, but obviously that's running the OS in the ARM core in there, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. We've got the Xilinx Zinc, and there's the sample memory there. There might be some on the other side. I'm not going to get the board out to see on the other side. It's not that important, but like, there's nothing else. So this is obviously doing the logic analyzer as well. So the logic analyzer is coming in via this ribbon cable here. The HDMI connector is actually on a front panel board down in there. So yeah, that's a bit different. Whereas over here, we actually had the logic analyzer, and that was down on the main PCB down here, and we had the big card edge connector poking, well, not right out the front, but a significant way. So they had to put that HDMI connector down there so that it was flush with the front panel, but comes through that ribbon cable. So that's obviously buggering off somewhere, unless there's some extra processing magic on the bottom. But I doubt it. And this ribbon cable here is the one that goes off to that back panel PCB that has all the external trigger and all that sort of jazz there. But yeah, there's nothing else in here, obviously. You know, this is all power supply stuff. We've got more power supply stuff down here. Is that a PLL for driving the clock, I believe? And not much else. Let's have a look at the front end. Now, if we compare the two front ends, this is interesting because this is the 1000 HD up here, and this is the 2000, which is the higher bandwidth 350 megahertz jobby. So you can see that the lower performance 200 megahertz front end has 4 relays on here and 2 trimmer caps. So someone's got a So, you know, it's a bit how you're doing. In terms of front ends these days, and the 350 megahertz jobby, although I think they have a 500 megahertz version in the 2000X series, but that's, I think, a different front end. I've only got the 350 megahertz version, which we're looking at here. And both of them have a 50 ohm input path, and there's another variable resistor here, which is not over here. This one does have more discrete SOT23 trannies down here, so that's like, you know, a little bit extra, but like nothing to write home about, right? And a classic 74HC595 here, of course. And you might think that the programmable gain front end chip has changed, but it hasn't. It's exactly the same. It's the NatSemi 6518 there. So it's, sorry, you can't see it here, but I've checked on different angles of the light where it shows up. It's exactly the same programmable gain amplifier front end here. So yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Look at the soldering on the 2000. They almost look like they've been hand touched up, haven't they? So something's doing there. But Yeah, there you go. So there's a couple of manual trimmers, so it's not as an advanced, I guess, for want of a better term, as the 2000X, but it's lower bandwidth, and they have a couple of manual tweaks, but obviously it's a little bit cheaper. But yeah, probably the most expensive part in here is the programmable gain amp. The relay's made in Japan, of course. They haven't skimped there, but it's kind of curious that they've just added an extra relay and the manual trimmers. I don't know why they just didn't reuse this 350 megahertz front end in the 2000X. Well, the answer's obvious. They're saving money somewhere. I just don't really see it. Anyway, unless like some of these jobbies down here are super expensive, but like nice matched pairs or something. But yeah. Anyway, interesting, huh? As you can see in the back of the case here, that this vent system here, the grill is actually behind here. So it's all exactly the same, all the same metalwork, everything else, but that's what I expect. I would have been surprised if it was different. And well, it works. Only problem is, I can't read Chinese. What? Now this is interesting. Check this out. On the 2000X HD, in the maintenance menu here, I just noticed it's got a front-end tweak wizard option. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I don't know if I noticed that in the previous video. Anyway, the new 1000X HD does not have it. So that's interesting. Now, of course, we have different front ends. Of course, this one has the tweaks, like the manual tweaks in it, the pots that we saw, and trimmer caps that we saw, and this one didn't. So maybe that's what it's doing? I don't know. Let's go in and have a look, shall we? Tweak wizard. Warning, Will Robinson, authorized operator only. Yeah, I'm authorized. Connect a supported SDG to the oscilloscope through USB or use manual mode. Manual. Click next if oscilloscope initialization completed. Hope I don't ruin it. Connect AWG to C1, tweak C1 to T1. Yeah, no, this is getting nasty. Okay, I won't go there. Sorry. Well, this is interesting. This does auto memory management, right? You can't do fixed. Like you can, the only option is fixed sample rate. Whereas over here, right, it's got fixed memory. So you've no longer got that option on the 1000. You don't have fixed memory. So yeah, that's really annoying. There's no, like we can, and it times out too. We can change that timeout thing here if you want. So we can actually tweak that. If we go into acquire, you've got to hit menu, which is kind of annoying. And then we can go into the fixed sample rate, and 2 gig samples per second gives us 20 meg points. So we're going to drop that sample rate there. Oh. And 1 meg point. There you go. We can go to 2.5. So that's nearest to the 2 that we have over here with 1 millisecond per division. But if you know why this does not allow you to fix the memory size, please leave it in the comments, because I don't know from an architecture point of view why you would need to do that. The only thing I can think of is that they're making it easier for the user, because the key sight works like this. It's, you know, set in its automatic memory depth or bust, and yeah, so maybe they're just taking that option away because it's just an extra thing that confuses users. But I don't know. I like to know, well, you do know what your memory depth is set at. It's there clearly, but still, I don't know. Leave it in the comments if you think that sucks. Okay, so on the 2000X, we've got peak-to-peak 536 microvolts there. I've set it to 200 megahertz bandwidth, so it matches the other one because this is a 350 megahertz bandwidth scope. And there you go. Yep, it does have the microphonics on the input. Of course it does. there you go. Does the 1000X have that? Oh, oh, hello. Hang on. Wow, it's fixed. Oh, look at that, barely. Wow, that's a great improvement. Is that the best scope on the market? I'm really thumping that. Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I saw a little bit of something over there, but, and even single shot trigger, which is just above there. No, look at that. Oh yeah, just got it. But geez, I'm really thumped. There's a lot of force in that, trust me. That could be one of the best scopes on the market. Wow, terrific. So they've either decoupled the physical connection in there, but I can't see why. I think that BNC is going to go directly into the front end board. Yes, in fact, you see it soldered in the teardown thing. So it's directly coupled into there. So they're just using non-microphonic capacitors in there. Fantastic. I hope that was deliberate and it's not just like a random bill of materials thing. I hope that's consistent. Leave it in the comments down below if you've got one of these puppies and you can test this. So 65 microvolts standard deviation. Let's go over here. It is lower, 456 microvolts as opposed to 630 and 45 as opposed to 62. So there you go. That is more betterer. But you can see that I think the 2000X is updating faster, but if you look at the spec sheet, the 1000X actually has 120,000 waveform updates per second as opposed to 100,000 waveform updates per second. So technically it's faster, but that actually looks slower to me. And by the way, I've got them both on 1 megohm input because that's my standard test, but it makes no difference if we'll get the similar or same ratio when I put it on 50 ohms. There you go, 50 ohms, 45 microvolts standard deviation, 57 microvolts standard deviation. Of course, you kind of expect that because not only is it a different front end, but this has a 350 megahertz front end, which you don't get a free lunch. Even though you set the software bandwidth limit to 200 meg on here, you still get a noisier front end when it's baked into your physical design. The higher the bandwidth front end, even if your software limit it, is still going to give you a higher noise floor. It just is, all other things being equal, of course. So totally expect that, but yeah, that's a significant difference. Oh, I just noticed that my trigger level was down in the noise here. It's now above, just like it is on this one, and still, I think this is faster. I mean, that's visibly faster. I don't even have to measure the trigger output to see that's faster. Does everyone agree? Anyway, sorry, I've got to head home. I'm actually sick at the moment. Maybe you've heard it in my voice and I can't concentrate at all. So I'm going to keep this video short. Let me know if you want to do a full review or if you want me to test specific things. I can do that quickly and whack it up on the second channel. But yeah, I'm sure this is a winner. Siglent make great scopes. The bang per buck is probably one of the best on the market. Shame it doesn't have a HDMI output. That would have been really nice. I mean, even the $299 Rigol has the HDMI output now. So, I don't know. And of course, it's, you know, it's pretty thick. If you're after a slimline scope, then you're not going to get that. And even the new 800 series, that's thick as well. So, yeah, it's nothing like the Rigol DHO 800. So, yeah, and no HDMI output on it either. So, but of course they do have a really nice web interface on this, so you can actually capture the screen that way. Ethernet LAN is built in, so yeah, no worries, you can do it that way. Just HDMI external monitor is just, or external HDMI capture is just a really nice, and I thought we'd get that with all scopes now, but no. Anyway, if you like that video, please give it a big thumbs up. As always, discuss down below. Catch you next time.